Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Knights of the Lunch Table podcast. My name is Josh. With me, I have Tyler and Kyle. Say hello, people.
Hey, what's up?
No.
No, okay. little blunt, but okay. Anyway, today's podcast, we are talking about conventions, whether it's ones we've been to, weird stories we have, or ones that we wish to go to. Who would like to start?
I can. I just went to one.
Okay, Tyler, take it away.
Not to dox myself, but Phoenix Fan Fusion. It hasn't. So first off, let me talk. I go to Phoenix Fan Fusion almost every year, and there hasn't been one in 3 years because the whole global situation that happened. But they finally reopened it. It was awesome. Not as awesome as previous years, but it's still really good. I got to meet one of my celebrity crushes, so that's cool.
Who was
Felicia
that?
Day. Felicia Day. She's the one that runs Geek and Sundry YouTube channel. But yeah, she's basically a nerd, just like everyone that goes to that convention. Also, who else was there?
She was on. She was from Firefly, wasn't she?
I don't remember if she was on Firefly. I know she was on Supernatural.
That's what it was.
Okay, yeah. Although there was somebody there from Firefly.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, I don't remember who. But anyway, yeah. Also, Jim Cummings was there, who's the voice of 90% of the cartoon characters that I watched growing up. Like, used Darkwing Duck and Cortez and El Dorado, which is what we did a cosplay. My brother and I did a cosplay of Miguel and Tulio from El Dorado, which turned out really awesome. We got recognized a shitload, which is way more than I thought. Did you get pictures of it? Yeah. I have
awesome.
Some pictures I'll post or whatever. But yeah, I got a lightsaber. I got a bunch of dice, metal dice. Nice, cool, awesome.
What color is the saber that you chose?
Orange.
Orange.
So it's kind
of like the Master Saber at the end of the 9th movie. Sorry.
12th movie, Jesus.
Master Saber.
Yeah, movie hasn't come out yet.
Right. Is the orange sword not part of like the Gray Jedi Order or something?
Like there's a golden saber that like. Okay, I really shouldn't spoil it too much, but it's been out for a while. But Rey finds the golden saber, which is like the Master Saber, by combining like two sabers in like the sand with some special scroll, and then she pulls out like the golden saber.
I do not remember that.
I was saying that's news to me.
I remember for it and show you guys.
There was something I had heard about Ahsoka's lightsabers being white and why they were white.
Yeah.
It's because for those of the follow podcasters that don't know, she took a Sith red kyber crystal and used some sort of space magic. I don't remember what it was exactly, but essentially pulled all of the dark energy out of it and it just became white. So, yeah.
Well, anyway, no. So the hilt is like black and it's got the best hilt, obviously. But yeah, and the blade is just orange because I like orange. But anyway, that's beside the point. So, yeah, got a lightsaber, which is awesome. We're not sponsored, but I got it from Ultra Sabers. And
it's lightsabers in the country now.
No, so they had a thing where you can either pay $75 to get like a random like box. You can do that, or a $200 box, but it's like guaranteed to have sound.
Okay.
Which I did last year, and I got a really lame ass one, or at least in my opinion, a really lame ass. It's just like a plain ass blue one, which I was like, it's fine, but kind of boring. But then this year I built my own.
There you go.
And it was relatively expensive because I wanted some cool bells and whistles on it.
I mean, you have to when it comes to the lightsaber. You can't cheap out on that.
Yeah, it was like the first year I just wanted one that was like, I just wanted a lightsaber. I didn't really care, so I just got a random box, which it is still cool. It's just not my style. And then, so this year I was like, I'm going all out. I'm getting exactly the lightsaber that I want. So I did, and it's sick. I love this thing.
Bet.
Yeah, I don't know. I also got some graphic novels and a manga and all that.
Okay.
Oh, the usual stuff.
Went
to
some panels, met some people. It was cool.
The basic convention stuff.
Yeah. I'm just super happy to be able to go to like that convention again specifically.
That's awesome.
Might be going to another one. My little cousin said they wanted to go to another one that's happening sometime later this year.
Okay.
So I'll maybe go to that one too, but I don't know. Yeah.
Fair enough.
That's all. That's all from this convention. I don't know how exciting that sounds, but it was awesome.
Okay.
It seemed alright,
I give it a solid 6 out of 10.
That's a fair rating.
Yeah.
I suppose it's one of those things where you have to be there.
Yeah. And I'm sure because it's further away from us, we can't really experience it unless we take time off to go down to it, or if he takes time off to come up to the ones we wanted to go to because they're closer to us kind of thing.
Yeah. Definitely.
By the way, for those of us that aren't aware, 2 out of the 3 of us live in the same state. The other one lives across the country. So.
Hashtag not my fault.
No, but it was your choice.
I mean, you moved away, so...
Yeah, it was my choice. And, some might argue that it was the right choice, but,
I still remember when you invited me to move out there.
Yeah.
You didn't invite me.
I mean, okay, it's like, I don't own the state, you don't need a formal invitation.
Tyler, you are a representative of Arizona.
Yep.
You can just come here if you want.
Fair enough.
So what convention are you wanting to go to?
You're talking about Josh or me?
Well, Josh, you mentioned, the convention, like if I could come up and visit one, like what one?
So there's 2 different conventions. One down in Chicago that if we could all go, it wouldn't be the worst thing. It might be a little bit more interesting with more people. But there's one in the Dells as well that's coming up here in a little while. I have to look up the exact name of it. I keep getting like notifications because there's one down in Sandusky going. Oops, played some audio there. God, which one was it? I know there's always DaishoCon down in the Dells every year. I don't think they did it the last 2 years because of the whole world-ending thing. But there was one called Colossal Con that I think actually is going on this weekend down in Ohio. Yeah.
What is it about?
It's just a bunch of anime. It's nothing very specific.
Oh.
But I keep seeing...
a giant thingy.
No, a lot of it just seems like there's people that aren't doing like specific anime-related cosplays that are really cool. Like, there was actually one just on here where someone is doing The Rock, like his old, like, 80s, 90s picture where he has that little hip pouch on the front of him. And someone's going as that, but as the father... I can't remember his exact name, but it's from My Hero Academia, the fire guy.
Endeavor.
Thank you. That's the one.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they're going as Endeavor with The Rock's outfit, and I think that's really funny. And I pray to God they post a picture of it.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, but like there's all that. There's one on here actually. Somebody went as Hellboy, which is a really good one. Like they got the white eye contacts, big old arm, a Nerf style revolver, and everything, and it looks really dope. But, so the one that I was speaking to you guys earlier about, the Anime Magic, is held in Chicago. As far as I'm aware, this year will be the 2nd year they've done it. And the first year, in my opinion, as well as the directors of the event, considered the first event a colossal failure. Like, at the end of it all, the director came on one of the stages and said, "Listen, everyone, I apologize for what happened. None of this was supposed to go the way it was planned, and everything started falling apart a week beforehand. Because what was originally supposed to happen, at least from what I heard, they were at a different stadium to do it, like the actual convention center across the way. But something got changed to where, because they didn't have as many people coming, they had to downsize. So they did the hotel across the street, which still wasn't bad for what it was. It worked out. But so that was already problem number one, is that people, like some of the, God, what are they called now? Like the board things where people come to talk and stuff.
Oh, panels.
Panels, thank you. So a bunch of the people in the panels dropped out. So they're like, okay, well, we're already down 5 panelists. So that's already terrible. And then you guys had read about the drag race thing, which is as implied as it sounds. It's a bunch of people dressing up in drag. But that day of the event, the manager of the hotel had come down and asked, hey, listen, since this is a very public area, can we not partake in this event, or, actions will have to be taken? Jeez. And trust me, it gets better. So they didn't listen at all the first time. So they started it about 20 minutes in. I guess enough people had complained that the manager came back down and said, listen, if you guys don't shut this down, I'm calling the cops. So they dispersed for a little bit and waited for the manager to run off and do something else. And then they came back, and then, God, I think it was 8 squads were called in.
Oh.
Yeah, so there was that. And then it was just there was no... Well, actually, part of the VIP tickets that were involved was there was a maid cafe that you could go to if you had VIP. And my buddy's kids both decided to get the VIP, and they went, and they're like, this was an awful experience. I never want to do this again. And I'm like, yeah, because mainly they also had the femboy option, which was awkward.
It can be, yeah, especially if you're not expecting it.
Well, no. There was 2 options. There was regular maid or femboy maid.
Okay.
So they were very well aware of what they were getting into. It was just every step of the way from when I bought my ticket to getting down there and participating in the event, everything went off the rails. So me and my buddy decided, hey, we're in Chicago. He actually had family down there, so we decided, hey, we're going to go visit him at the casino there, have a few drinks, and have a good night. And that's exactly what we did.
It all worked out in the end. Sounds like.
Kinda. I also got him to try an edible for the first time, which was a really interesting event.
Oh, jeez.
Well, because it was one of them nights where we didn't want to go back down there, so we're like, screw it. Again, we're going to hang out in the hotel, hang out in the pool, drink, and just have some fun. And he wanted me to try some authentic Chicago pizza, because that was his big, you're here, I'm making sure you try it. Because he grew up in Milwaukee, so for him, a trip to Chicago was an hour and a half kind of deal.
Yeah, it's like our trips to the Dells.
Yeah, pretty much. So
bigger.
Yeah. And I felt terrible because getting the pizza initially, it looked really good. And I was really excited to try it. But then what ended up happening was we drove down to the pizza place, drove back. We walked over to the convention area because it was only a block and a half from our hotel. And the pizza was cold by the time we finally got back.
Mm.
And we tried it the next morning. I'm like, hey, listen, it's pizza. It's fine. But, and I feel bad because I'm sure it was supposed to be a really good pizza. I just kind of shit on him that day.
Yeah, I mean, cold pizza's still not bad, but...
No, but the thing with Chicago-style pizza is, it was a real thick crust with what looked like a lot of marinara.
Was it one
of
the
tomato sauce.
Deep dish?
Yeah, it was a deep dish pizza.
Oh.
Honestly, it was probably about 4 inches in height.
Jeez.
This thing was crazy.
Where it's taller than it is wide.
No, it was a pretty big pizza, actually. But, yeah, it was just one of them things that, because it took us, 2-3 hours to actually dig into it, it just didn't have the same appeal as what I'm assuming he wanted me to have it the first time. And then, of course, because his kids were still out, I told him, like, hey, listen, try this edible, you'll relax. Because he was stressed. And again, we're in a big city, and his kids were out of his sight for once. But, yeah, I'm like, here, just try this. If you want to wait till your kids get back, that's fine. So he took one, and he just started pacing for a little bit. And the next thing I know, he is face down next to the bed. Not even on the bed, just, okay, he's asleep on the floor.
Jeez. That really calmed him down.
Oh, it knocked him out, because it kind of had the same effect for me. As a matter of fact, I did 2 that night, which don't, if you ever decide to. It's all them stories where it's that late effect that always gets you.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, I had the same effect after the second one. I'm like, you know what? I'm really sleepy. I'm going to go lay down. And mind you, I've had a little bit of experience with trying some stuff like that, so I was a little bit more ready for it.
That's fair enough.
Yeah, that was my story of a very disastrous convention I've gone to.
Yeah. So you actually reminded me of a couple of things, like, during that. I don't know why. But first of all, okay, can we please, everyone, stop with this whole, oh, you haven't had real pizza until you've had Chicago pizza. You haven't had real pizza till you've tried New York style pizza.
You haven't had real, like, until you've had.
Yeah, like, bro, like, it's just a different style. Everyone got different preferences. Like, God. You know, like, I don't know, man. Like, plus, when you hype something
until
up.
You got in Wisconsin drunk.
Hey, it's illegal to participate in drinking competitions outside of this country if you're from Wisconsin. I found that out down in Mexico.
At least in many places. I don't know if it's everywhere, but
it's very frowned upon.
But yeah, it's just like when you hype stuff up that big and then somebody finally tries it, like you do get more of those instances like Josh was talking about where you try it and then you're just kind of like,
it's okay.
You know,
like not that I would go out of my way to get it, but if it was available, I'd eat it.
Well, yeah. It's not one of those things where it's like, oh, well, this was complete shit. Like, but it's like you hype it up so much, and then it just ends up being okay, and it kind of like ruins it because you're like, oh, I thought it was going to be like the best thing I've ever had,
right?
And it's just kind of mediocre.
Yeah.
But that was a side thought. Anyway. So you mentioned maid cafes. There was one at the Phoenix Fan Fusion too.
Oh god.
And oh my god, this line was so long. I don't know how to describe the map, but it's like so. It's basically like a square building, and there's one hallway that kind of goes around the whole thing.
Okay.
And in between there's like that's where the rooms are.
Yeah.
And you know, there's like cross sections basically that go like they like go north south along the along the convention center.
Yeah.
So I'm like I go up the stairs or whatever. This thing is like all the way on the west side or something of the building. It's like the southwestmost room or whatever.
Of course it is.
So I come up on the southwest end and see all these people like sitting in line, and I'm like, what the heck is going on here? Like just a bunch of people sitting along the wall. And like I start walking down, I had to go like to the opposite corner of the building basically. So I'm like walking along and I keep seeing all these people sitting in line. I'm like, what the heck is going on? And I come around the corner all the way at the end of the other end of the building. And there's still people in line,
Jesus.
Like going all the way down like it almost wrapped around, and then all the way down the hallway, and then almost started wrapping again. I'm like, oh my like
God!
This line almost like it was almost halfway across the entire building. Like the line to get into the convention itself was shorter than this one. I'm like, what the heck?
So like, what is it about those that are like attracting to people? Like I haven't been to them yet.
From my perspective, what it is most males, they prefer the yes sir, yes ma'am, like the being gratified for even just being there. And just the idea that someone is willing to serve them hand and foot in more than likely a skimpy outfit just makes it better. It's the whole reason behind Hooters.
And it's like the cutesy attitude that people like. Yeah. And, you have to remember, these are weebs. Weebs love that shit. But, I saw that and I was like, damn, bro, I gotta open up a maid cafe here in Phoenix. Holy shit.
You wouldn't think about it, but those would do really good in most states. They really would.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a gap in the market, so,
It is.
I mean, unless you go to, like, Japan or something, but...
Well, yeah, but that's Japan. It's expected over there. They literally have sex hotels.
That's the thing. That's why if you open one here in the States, I think it might do really well, because you don't have a whole lot of competition.
No, you wouldn't.
But
I don't think you'd have any competition other than maybe, like, a stripper joint.
Well, like I said, Hooters. That's the whole idea behind it.
But see, even then, that's like a different vibe.
It is. That's a very much like adult 40-plus-year-old men that are trying to get their kids to, like, over-sexualize a lot of things.
Yeah, I don't know. And, like, maid cafes seem kind of cringe on the outside, but I don't know, to me they're a little bit less cringe than, like, Hooters, because, like, I don't know, because, like, a maid cafe, it's like, part of the attitude and stuff, but, like, to me, like, for the most part, Hooters is literally just tits and wings. Like, to me, that's kind of, I don't know, it makes it inherently awkward.
It does, and that's the biggest problem. But like you were saying, yeah, it's the whole attitude behind a maid cafe where you just go and there's people dressed up really weird, but you're just getting food in a somewhat cutesy environment.
Yeah, but who knows? But anyway, I had a couple other things pop into my head. So when I bought the lightsaber, I got like these raffle tickets. And I went to that raffle like at the end of the convention or whatever. Didn't win anything, which is kind of a bummer, but whatever. But when I went and bought my dice, from, again, not sponsored, but Critical Hit Dice, I bought, it had like so like the last day of conventions, a lot of times you can get like deals because it's just people trying to get rid of their stuff so they don't have to pack it all up.
It was actually how I got my dice for like $1 when it originally first day it was like $10.
But yeah, so it's gonna sound expensive, but so I bought these like really nice dice sets, like metal dice, and they were having like buy two get one free thing. So I bought one set for myself and one set for my brother, $85 a piece. Like I said, that sounds expensive, but if you're into fancy ass dice,
then yeah, it's
you'll know that's not that expensive. Like there's $300+ sets of dice out there.
Oh yeah, I've looked into some of them.
Yeah, like I've been tempted to buy some because there's some really nice looking dice out there. But
I'd be afraid that someone would like try to steal it or mug me for my dice.
Yeah, but anyway,
lived until you got mugged for dice.
So yeah, I bought these two dice, and there was this cool like it's like a black dice bag, and it looks like it has like scales on it, and it has like an eyeball, it's like a dragon eye kind of is the idea. Okay. It has like a green dragon eye on it, and I wanted to buy that too, but I was like, I'll just get the dice for now, whatever. So I bought two things of dice, picked out another one that I got for free. So it's like basically $200 something worth of stuff that I got for, I don't know, like 170. And then that one, it was like, however, if you spend X amount, you get a lottery ticket or whatever. So I was like, cool, I get I take a chance to get more tickets. Stuff. Yeah. And then I come back later. First of all, there was a ton of people. So basically the way they did it is they pulled something out of a box, just one of their products, and they're like, this is the next thing in the giveaway. They draw a ticket, read out the number, and, if you're there, you just go, woo, and then you go get your stuff. Nice. And a couple of times, it was so weird. So, they'd pull out the item, they'd read off a number on the ticket, no one would respond, they'd move on to the next one, and they did it, a couple of times, they read off, 5 or 6 numbers before anyone, had won something. I'm like, maybe it's just me being, a dice whore or something, but like, I'm like, bro, this is free loot, and you're not even gonna show up for the. Yeah, I'm like, bro.
Free real estate. No,
so anyway,
and to iterate on that one, me and my roommates, we went to the Ultimate Frisbee game that I was talking about a couple weeks ago, and it was the same thing. There was a lottery thing for like $400, and they sat there and they called out this number for like half an hour, and nobody, as far as I'm aware, nobody had the ticket. Like, we were leaving the match and that person was still sitting there holding the sign that had the numbers on it. It's like, dude, that's $400. The ticket was like $20. Are you not gonna take that money?
Jeez,
it was bad.
Yeah, there's some wackadoodles out there that literally just donate to those just because they want to,
Oh, well,
which, I guess it's not too weird, but
I watch people buy them little pull tabs, and they'll legit drop like $40, $80, $100 at a time to do this shit. I'm like, ow, my heart. You're wasting money like that, and I usually have to save up that kind of money.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, so I bought these green dice with the gold, like, look, they're basically green Power Ranger dice. They're beautiful.
Nice.
Got my brother a set of black dice because he's edgelord. And I got these cool, like, blue. I got these cool, like, blue stone dice that have like a frosted, like, coating on them. They look really pretty. And then I got, so like, eventually they're doing the raffle or whatever, and they call my number. I'm like, woohoo! I got these cool copper dice. And so like when I won that, I was like, all right, cool. Like, I won something. If they, call another one of the numbers from one of my other raffle tickets, I just won't say anything. Just let somebody else win it or whatever. But then they pull out the dice bag that I wanted, like with the green eye and the cool leather and everything, and I was like, okay, this I'll if they call my number for this one, I'll take it. And they did. I was like, woo! And then I grabbed that, so like I ended up getting it anyway. So that was fucking awesome. I was so happy with that. I was like, hells yeah. But
yeah, the convention I went to, I had planned to drop like $600-$700 because I'd never been to a convention of this scale before. It was always inside of a water park, which in my opinion I was always like, that seems really almost shady. But I had like $700 at the beginning of that week, and it took me some time to save that. I'm like, if I would have been smart, that could have went to a number of other things. The only things I bought there was a laptop bag with Cthulhu on it, which, I mean, praise be Cthulhu and all. It's the best thing I've ever purchased. And then I bought my buddy a laptop bag because we had gotten into a conversation about, I don't know how we got there, but he was involved in like the junior space cadets program when he was younger or whatever. That if he would have followed on track, he would have been an astronaut. So I bought him a NASA, it's just the NASA, it's round, we've checked logo on one of the bags. And it was a real nice, like almost pure leather bag. If I can ever get a picture of it, or for him to send me one, I'll post it. But like, it was like $60-$70 I spent, and I was expecting to spend 10 times that. There was pictures, there was like some weird, them weird like little round gotcha things that you'll see on like animes where they come out of that little vending machine. Yeah. They had a whole shop based around stuff like that, and then like Japanese like treats and stuff, which I thought was really cool. I wasn't gonna waste money trying something I wasn't gonna like, or at least attempt to enjoy. But that was really all that was for sale there, and I felt really cheated. The only other thing, and I kind of am kicking myself for not buying it, you'll see them on TikTok a lot. The masks that like glow, light up, or they'll change and they're like really pixelated and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They had some of those
facial expressions and whatnot.
Yeah, kind of. It's mostly like just the eyes that'll change expression, but they had a set
kind
of
that. Have that one of those.
But yeah, they had that, and it was like $200. I'm like, I'm gonna wait on that, see if I either find something better, or I'll come back on last day, and if it's still there, I'll pick it up. And we swung in on the not on the last day. We actually came back a couple hours later looking for his kids. And of course it was already gone. So I'm like, I really should have bought it.
Regret.
Yeah.
But I mean, other than that, like, besides the whole convention, the weekend was fun.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah, that reminds me. So a couple pro tips, by the way, for conventions. Not that I'm a professional,
Wear deodorant.
Yes, wear deodorant. Take a fucking shower. Luckily,
that is
this year,
rule number one.
This year it wasn't that bad. This year it was pretty. It was fine.
Oh, that was the thing at this convention. That was actually a requirement to get in. Was you had to have deodorant on.
Is there like a checker at the entrance?
Yes, there was.
Your armpit?
No. It was you had to have deodorant on you to get
official fucking like
armpit
convention
sniffer.
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine getting
official armpit sniffer here. Oh god.
It's got a little name tag.
weird little icon. Instead of it looking like smelling an armpit, just looks like he's smelling farts.
This is Tim. He's an armpit sniffer.
Yeah. So here's Goggles' pro tip convention. I'm bad at naming things. So plan to spend $500 to $1,000 if you can. Like keep that in your head. That if you're buying things, be prepared to spend that much. Just because it's one of those things that like I've noticed a lot of times. So there's two types of people. There's people that go into the exhibitors hall and buy everything they want day one immediately. And there's the type of people that like hold off. And then, like, once they make that first purchase, it just snowballs, and they just keep buying more and more stuff.
Broke the dam.
It's all downhill from there, bud. I spent my first $100. My check is gone.
Like if you spend any amount of money, you usually end up spending a lot of money, which is fine. Like, just budget for that. Have that ready to go. Tip number 2: if you're wearing a cosplay that is like. If you're wearing a cosplay where there's a risk for something to, pop out that you don't want to pop out, wear safety shorts.
That too.
Like, wear
safety shorts,
like
a bra of some kind,
of shorts under, like just, because you always see a couple of those.
Some sort of wardrobe malfunction.
Yeah, like somebody's costume rides up a little bit more than they were expecting, and there's some awkward moments, and but.
Or if you want to make friends really quickly at conventions, become a sewer. There's always people that are breaking their cosplays. If you're out on the floor, you can just quick patch everything, and you become friends with a lot of people. I noticed that actually at the convention.
Yeah, feel free to talk to people. Most people at nerd conventions are super nice.
Oh, absolutely.
Don't be weird about it. Don't go up and be like, "Hey, hot cosplay," but just be like, "Oh, hey." Obviously, yeah, but yeah, like if you like somebody's cosplay, feel free to just come up and be like, "Hey, I like your cosplay. It looks cool." I don't even think I did a fantastic job on either of the cosplays I did this year, but I got tons of compliments, and that feels super good. So always feel free to compliment cosplays that you like. Like, if you see them, just be like, "Hey, I like it. Nice job." Like, even if it's just that, it feels so cool.
And as a bonus tip on top of that, even if you don't have the money to make a super expensive cosplay, if you just want to buy, like, a funny shirt that mentions something about it, or a hat, or a wig or something, as long as you make the attempt, a lot of people are going to come up to you and be like, "Yo, that was a really cool idea."
Yeah.
Like, it's a very inviting atmosphere to be in, as long as you aren't blocking people off.
Yeah. Back with exhibitor hall tips. That's another one. There are some, so it's kind of a toss-up. Some people in the exhibitors hall, or where, the market area or whatever, sometimes you're at a booth and they'll just kind of let you look, and if you don't want to buy anything, they'll just leave you go. Other ones, I've noticed a lot of times, the people that immediately greet you as you're approaching the booth they're going to try to pressure you into buying something.
Oh, yeah.
It's not always the case, but I've noticed a lot of times, if somebody, like, if you're just walking past the booth, just kind of looking around, and somebody's like, hey, how can I help you today? Like, you know, how's your con going? Those ones, like...
If you're not prepared to buy something, be careful.
Yeah, it's not necessarily a red flag, but just keep an eye out for that, because they are generally trying to push you to buy something right out the gate. And, like, you don't always want to buy something. Sometimes you're just like, oh, that's kind of cool, but I don't want it, or whatever. But yeah.
Yeah.
That was just a few things that popped in my head. I'm pretty sure there's other things that I'm not thinking about that are good convention tips. Yeah. But
this episode's kind of turned into tips from Tyler.
It's just turned into just yammering about convention shit.
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole idea, though.
Yeah, that's the topic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, Kyle, I know you said you never been to one, but you had ideas about ones you wanted to go to?
Actually, something that came into my mind that, like, it isn't technically a con, but I think it's a cousin of it. I've been to a couple Renaissance fairs.
I would consider those conventions. It's just of a different nature.
Different kind.
Yeah, it's just kind of different.
Outside usually.
Different variety. Yeah. It's basically the same atmosphere.
Oh yeah. Except the people are a lot more in character at Renaissance.
Oh yeah, there's people that are hired to stay in character throughout like the enclosure.
Oh god.
Like if you go, I went to the Bristol Renaissance Fair, which is like southern Wisconsin, just below Milwaukee. And like it looks like a genuine, like Renaissance medieval kind of village in like a wooded area, which was really cool.
That doesn't fucking send off any red flags right there.
I don't know. I liked it. It was cool. Like while I was there, I ended up buying like a wrist guard with like a small notebook and a compass on it. Like it was cool. One of the only things I bought there, which I guess kind of contradicts your if you buy something you keep buying. But I didn't have a ton of money either.
Well, he had the thought of be prepared to, because that was the same thing with my event. Yeah. Was I only bought one thing, but I had $700 ready to go that time.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, it's not that you're going to; it's just you want to be prepared, because like a lot of people when they see something, like once they buy one thing, they're like it's like floodgates opening. They just start seeing stuff that they want to buy. It's just
Yeah.
But yeah.
But I'm sure it would be kind of cool if all of us could go to a Renaissance fair eventually. Like, I've only been to, like, 2 of them, which is, like, the Bristol one, and there's one in Minnesota somewhere. Not 100% sure where. But personally, I liked the Bristol one more. Like, it just had a better feel to it, rather than just a giant circle of tents. But... Oh, it also might be because I got to throw rotten tomatoes at someone.
Bet. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, they had like all those things, like the jousting. There we go. They had like the jousting matches, which are like people acting out the jousting matches. But
you mean it wasn't real, and I could go and kill somebody while riding a horse in a big metal spear?
God. Oh no. Unfortunately not. I'm sure there's a lot of liability issues with that.
Unreal 0 out of 10 would never go.
Right?
Actually, it's not a metal spear, it's a wooden lance.
You're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Still, 0 out of 10 wouldn't go.
I mean, you can still throw the tomatoes at the dude. He's taunting you and like asking for it.
Yeah, but that's like the same mentality behind it. That's like the same mentality behind a dunk tank. Like, you know what's gonna happen to the dude.
I mean, he's gonna get hit with a tomato or not.
Exactly.
But like we managed to avoid eating there a lot because we were there on like one of the last days it was open. And I guess tip for Renaissance fairs, if you're not there on like the first 2 days, don't generally trust the food because they don't have a lot of ways to refrigerate food that was prepared. So
you mean they couldn't find a way to like dress up an old refrigerator to look just like a shelf?
Like, even if it's in the back, they might not have like ways to get the electricity out there properly. So they make the food, and they might have that for like a day or two in like a cooler. But
fair enough.
Like, by the end of it, you are better off not eating there. Let's like go somewhere else outside, eat, then come in, have your fun, and whatnot. But what were you
say that you mentioned the go outside and eat kind of thing. Two thoughts popped in my head. One, I could just imagine the outside region of there being like, oh yeah, I work at a McDonald's. Every year, this group of people in full suits of armor come in to eat food, and it's not weird at all.
They're enriching their experience at McDonald's.
Oh, absolutely. What was funny was a few months back, I went down to Boston for like, I don't even remember what it was, just some party I was at. And it was a costume / escape room thing in his garage. So you came with a costume or a couple if you wanted to change it out. But I had a foam T-Rex head in the back of my car that I bought probably a good 2-3 years ago. It was back when not this last Jurassic World, but like the first Jurassic World was coming out.
Yeah.
And it was at Walmart. I'm like, hey, it's $10. This seems like a great idea. So I bought it. And then me, 3 other people, we all had some sort of weird costume on. There was one dude just straight up dressed as Jason, which in a very like Catholic Christian town, it got weird really quickly.
Oh, I can imagine, yeah.
But then there was 2 people. One was dressed up in like a dog onesie, the other one in like a cat onesie. And we just all walked in as a group. And I can only imagine what was going on at that back line or at the cash register once we left. Because we didn't stay to eat. As a matter of fact, we only went in to Culver's to get like ice cream. But that was kind of the same thing when I worked in the Dells and the conventions were in town. There was always some kind of joke or something to have been said with that.
Actually, now that you say that, like dressing up and going somewhere, it reminds me of when I was living in Wausau and like going to school up there. Like me and a few friends periodically would go to Taco Bell, but we would have like masks on, like Halloween masks on, and we would do impressions of the characters that we were wearing, and we would get free tacos.
Nice.
So like one of like the main driver would wear like Mickey Mouse, and like he would be able to do like that voice. And like I basically wore whatever was left because I didn't really know how to do a lot of impressions. So
fair enough.
I just let everyone pick their characters and went along with it. But
on the ride to Taco Bell, you're sitting there researching your character.
Basically, but like we got free tacos from it. It was weird, but
if
fun.
If the effort is worth the outcome, absolutely.
Oh yeah. You ever do anything like that, Tyler?
I don't think I've ever done anything exactly like that. I know that around like a lot of the like restaurants downtown, when there's like a convention thing going on, you can like show up in cosplay and they'll give you like a discount.
Nice.
That's pretty much the closest thing to that I would know.
Fair enough, yeah.
So you have gone out in public wearing a costume.
I mean, I guess it's like in public, yeah. Just because like it's outside of the bounds of the like
the event.
You know, of the official event area. But I don't generally walk around just wearing cosplay, but that's just because that's primarily because no one else will do it with me.
That's why you got to move back here. You have no idea how many times I would love to do that.
No.
You just have to cosplay someone that's ready for winter.
No.
Any closing remarks before we end this episode today, lads?
I don't really have anything right now.
Okay.
But I just want to remind everyone, if you're going to a con or Renaissance fair, wear deodorant.
If you're going out in public, wear deodorant.
That too.
Like, that's just a life rule. Come on.
If not just deodorant.
Take a shower, clean up.
Like take a shower, brush your hair, whatever. Like
maybe wear cologne if you want to be fancy. Who knows?
I just mean, like, you don't have to be like super, like,
done up to the T's, but
just be relatively hygienic.
Yeah. And later on, eventually, as this grows, if we do end up going to like a convention or a Renaissance fair together, we can always take pictures and post them online.
Oh yeah, we'll have everyone to see some kind of subreddit.
Yeah.
Ooh, that'd be fun. Okay, so yeah, my final thought here would be, if anyone ever listens to this,
I guess that's
confidence.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Hey, but anyway, just getting started.
If anyone's listening to this and wants to, feel free to let us know what conventions you've been to, stories, conventions you think should exist but you have never heard of before, all that kind of stuff.
Definitely. We want to hear about your experiences.
Indeed. Well, everyone, thank you for joining us today. If you aren't already, feel free to subscribe to us on YouTube. This podcast will also be posted wherever you can usually find podcasts, Amazon, Spotify, a couple other sites we're working with. Also, make sure you subscribe to Procrastination Nation, our YouTube channel. We'll be getting a few videos out here in the next couple weeks. So, yeah.
So anyway, yeah. Thanks for listening, everybody. Bye. Everybody or nobody.